Hi, and welcome to the 24th episode of the Nonstop Podcast with Pooja. With me, I have the most lovely Preethika. Preethika is as dazzling as she is, as both personality and a brand owner of Jewellery. So, welcome to the podcast, Preethika.
Thank you so much, Pooja. I'm really excited for the conversation ahead. Thank you once again for inviting me.
We've never had a jeweler before, and especially a gemologist. So, the first curious question is how did you get into this business? And please let us know a little bit about this business. And I'm sure there's a lot of curiosity behind jewelry, precious metal, considering all the e commerce wars with the tariffs and the conflicts. So, over to you.
So, I'm actually a third generation diamond jeweler. So, I'm born in the family of diamond jewelry business. So, my choice of career was a very natural transition because I literally grew up in a world of diamonds and gemstones and, conversations over dinner table that revolved around business. So, that was the kind of childhood I had. And my fascination for gemstones, like I mentioned, has been from a very young age. In fact, I recall, I think when I was in class 5 or class 6, I jotted down saying I would want to become a gemologist someday and have a brand of my own. So that's how deeply rooted passion for gemstones and diamonds are. They've literally grown on me. I mean, today, if you ask me, I cannot imagine a life otherwise. And I also had this thought that I'm the older of three siblings, three sisters. So I wanted to carry forward my dad's legacy, the skill set, and the exceptional world of diamonds that he's bestowed on me. So I really wanted to take that forward and launch my own brand. And I was very fortunate to meet my life partner who was interested in the same. And so that is when we went ahead to train in Belgium, Antwerp. And I feel that kind of laid the foundation for Prismarc because we realized we need to bring in global technical expertise and merge it with the local sentiment. So that is the foundation and the basis, and that's how we got started with our very own jewelry brand, Prismarc. And I'm happy to say that's our first baby. And my second baby is my 4-year-old son. So, yes, gemology has been deeply rooted in my life. And I learned even before I formally did my training in GIA and in Belgium. So, I've learned at a very young age. I learned grading back like in when I was around 15, 16 years old. I've been grading diamonds and assisting my dad in the whole office scenario. So for me, gem and jewelry industry, I think it's been about 22 decades of expertise in this line. So like I said, it has deeply grown on me, and we really look forward to taking it to much higher heights.
Yeah, I'm sure, it's a very prestigious business and it's a more, presumptuous business as well. But also there's a lot of good deeds that you do that are attached with this. But let's just rewind a little bit, right? So you have a background of commerce and also you got into jewelry business, which is very competitive, especially in the Indian market. So let us know a little bit about how do you source diamonds, or what is your take on lab diamonds? And one more question I probably will add to that. In the given current market scenario, how do you see yourself selling in this business?
All right. So to answer your first part of the question is how do we source diamonds? To source diamonds appropriately and accurately, your knowledge in diamond grading has to be strong and firm. So that is where I say the foundation of the business lies in the knowledge you have. So the courses that I've done, like I've, trained myself in diamond grading for multiple months. Like from morning till evening, we've only been assorting for all 6 days a week. So, and that went on for a couple of months. So that's the kind of base you need to understand the 4 C's of a diamond: cut, color, clarity. And when that hold is strong, irrespective of where you source from, your purchase is going to be phenomenal because nobody can fool you at the point of purchase. And when your purchase is right, you end up giving the right products to your clients as well. So the entire supply chain falls in place if you are educated well enough to make the right choice. So that's about, diamond purchase. And if you were to ask me geographically how we do it, so there isn't anything specific. We source from Hong Kong, we source from Antwerp, we source from Bombay. So depending on the requirement, depending on what is available, where, at the best, we source that, because we believe diamonds cannot just be bought by reports. Diamonds need to be graded, seen in person before the purchase is made. So it is a very personal process. So that is one part of it. And the second part of it that you wanted me to answer was how I would like to enter into the market. So I think the basis of a successful business is goodwill and trust. Beyond this, it is about how consistently you can deliver quality. If it is a one-time transaction, people will come by, and if they are not satisfied, your business is gone, your goodwill is gone, and you don't see a future for yourself. But when you can consistently deliver that quality, no matter how much competition you have, your loyalty will not be shaken at all. This I'm saying purely out of experience. Even if the client has to pay, say, premium, but if they know they get the value for that premium, there is absolutely nothing that can shake you or budge you in this competitive world. Do right, continue doing right, and you will always have your set of people with you. So this is something I personally believe in and promote as well.
Okay, let me also refresh your memory on my third question. On the e-commerce side of things, right? We are in a situation where we are on tariff wars. There's a lot of conflict. I think you mentioned that you source both from the east and the west, and also from India. So there should be certain kind of challenges that you face in terms of importing and exporting. So a little bit on that.
Yes. So this is a challenge being part of the jewelry industry, where you have to adapt yourself to changing scenarios. So like you mentioned, given the global crisis, of course we have to reroute, of course we have to reevaluate. But like I said, we never compromise on the quality, and India is the growing hub. So we don't necessarily have to depend outside, to procure the best. We already have the best. And beyond that, like I said, from what is available, see, you have to understand, diamond jewelry is not like a fabric where it is just imported and used as such. Diamonds are something that need to be personally checked. So that is where the skill set of a gemologist comes into picture. So no matter what you give it to me on the table, from where it has been sourced, unless it doesn't qualify into my grading sheet, we never accept it. And like I mentioned already, India is self-sufficient by itself. So, despite these crises, when it comes to the diamond front, I would like to say we don't really have that kind of pressure or crisis per se. So diamond front that way has been pretty easy. And we also have another vertical part of our business, which is gold bullion. So we do diamond jewelry, and also gold and silver bars. Bullion business. So we are primarily into the supply of gold bars, silver bars across retailers, corporates, pan Tamil Nadu. So yes, when it comes to gold, there is going to be, I would say, a significant shift in the way we are going to function in the coming year. But like I said, we have to adapt to changing times, and we do encourage rotation of old gold, old jewelry that you have. This is the best time, everyone. Please take it out of your lockers. Please take it out of, your safe. What you feel is not doing you any good, this is the right time. Nation above everything else. So we have to adapt to the current scenario. But this is temporary. So we are hopeful of, things settling in. And like I said, jewelry is not something that can be stopped in the Indian market. The demand for it is more than just a commodity, it is an emotion. So on that front, we have to make minor adjustments to adapt to the changing times. But otherwise, I wouldn't call it like a concern per se.
Okay, I'm going to catch you on your words and take you back a little bit I think I'm circling back on the e-commerce part a little bit, right? So not just e-commerce, just the financial sense of it. So you also said that you request people to bring out the gold that's lying in their lockers or in their safes to put it out, because of course we are in a, a sort of economic crisis, to say the least, a recession due to the ongoing, political scenarios in the world. So your thought process on that is that there is nothing as good as having it in the safe now. Do you think it should go back to the jewelers and gemologists for some recycling process, or do you just feel that the value addition of it right now in the lockers or safe is not very plausible?
Well, what I was trying to say is jewelry as a sector, you can never really pause the demand for it.
Yeah.
And given the current scenario where we cannot import anything additional, to benefit the forex reserves and, just help ease the global tension. So what I was trying to say is, when you have old jewelry that is not being used, might as well put it to use, because we will have occasions where we need jewelry, and this is something that was not foreseen and it has come, and we need to stand together in times like this. So I don't mean to say that that isn't the safe place for the jewelry to be, but what I'm trying to say is, when the need arises, might as well use what you have in reserves instead of pumping in additionally from outside.
Okay, very
Yeah.
nice. So I will have like two follow-up things on this, right? One on the investment angle of it, because many people who are listening are probably wondering, the investment side to this, right? People invest, back in the days, they invested in jewelry as a commodity of wealth. Today, it's very clear to the youth that jewelry is just a part of an aestheticism or just an accessory, right? It's just like a watch or a car you had added to your existing style statement. It doesn't really bring in the value that a gold bar brings in, right? In terms of exchanges, in terms of charges, etc. So what are your takes on that? Because of course, do you feel that there is a niche for young people going into the market and buying jewelry like back in the days that women generally collected? Or do you just see that there is a huge shift in looking at jewelry as an investment or a wealth?
Well, I haven't seen any shift in our mindset. And to be honest, there's no reason to have that shift as well, because we have seen and we continue to see how gold and silver has grown like exorbitantly. They will continue to be investments. Diamonds, on the other hand, I would call them as assets. So basically, you have to take a call if you want to put it as an investment and you look to recalibrate in the future, or you're looking at it as an asset. So the price might vary, say a little plus, a little minus. That's what the asset does, right? So on those lines, I would say, jewelry in terms of investment has not shifted at all. In fact, it has only grown and diversified more. And you will see the younger generation, the next generation, also coming in to pump in money, because see, how much only would you lock in your goals, and for how much long only would you do that? So what he say is, when you don't have an immediate need for jewelry, buy gold, buy silver, and let that money, let that appreciate. And when you want to buy the jewelry, say there's a wedding in the family and you've been collecting gold for past couple of years, then that is the time for you to liquidate it and convert it into the jewelry.
All right.
So there is no right or wrong about it. It's just about how well you can plan it. So if you have an immediate need for jewelry, wear the jump into it. There is, you will not go wrong with it. Gold, silver, diamonds, you will not go wrong with it.
Great.
We have seen they are time-tested commodities. So if we do not want to wear it in the immediate times, then might as well buy gold, buy silver, beat your pest prices. Like they mentioned, variable wholesale, right?
Yeah.
So then we have copper prices on gold and silver. And when you have the need for jewelry, convert it into.
Yeah. Let's get to the design part of it right after. On the diamond part of it, because you're a gemologist, right? So diamond is slightly more on the luxurious end. And also it has similar amount of apprehension and contradiction, because diamond is one of the few metals or rocks or whatever terminology it is, carbon, it is in the gemologist world. So it is also lab grown. So there's a lot of looking down upon diamond as such, at least in the Indian scenario, because we are the largest collector of gold. Just as a reserve, even as an ordinary woman on a day-to-day basis. So, how do you see diamond doing well? Do you see that people are going in for lab-cut diamond, or do they press to have, originally sourced diamond?
So you have to adapt to changing times, but that doesn't mean the value of a particular product in this scenario, like a natural diamond, will depreciate to scrap. That's never going to happen. Anything that is naturally sourced, anything that is unique to nature, will never lower itself in terms of cost and value. So natural diamonds will always be an asset. There is going to be a parallel market for lab grown. Like say for instance, you're somebody and you're traveling abroad. You have a wedding to attend. And
You have always been collecting natural diamonds, and you feel in the current scenario, traveling abroad with a high value product like that, you would rather prefer to go in for a lab grown because you don't want to kind of compromise on the safety security portion. So that is where lab grown comes into picture. So there is absolutely nothing right or wrong about lab grown. It is just the purpose of your purchase that needs to be taken into account before going for a lab diamond. Because natural diamond, like I said, are assets. The value might appreciate or depreciate, but they would never come down to scrap. They are naturally sourced items, so you will have the demand. And that is something which is more of an emotional buy. So when you're buying it for your personal purpose, when you're buying it for your family, for a wedding, you would never want to consider something alternate to it. Let's put it that way. So natural diamonds as such do have a parallel requirement. On the other hand, if you look at lab, like I said, if you are clear with the purpose that you're not looking at it in terms of appreciation, it is more of a fashion wear, like how you buy luxury bags. You want to indulge in the moment, enjoy, the product. It could be because of safety, because you're traveling, because you're studying abroad, because you're attending a destination wedding outside, or simply because you don't want it to be too flashy, or it could just be because you want to enjoy rather than spending, say 10 times more for the same.
I'll hold your thought on it and ask you to, conclude also your ideologies on this. What's the difference in pricing between, say, lab grown diamond versus an actual diamond on percentage?
That I can never give a fixed percentage because depending on the size and depending on the cut color clarity again, which is also there in lab, the price will change. But probably just to give an example, like the current prices, because we are doing live, 1 carat lab grown would say be somewhere around 30,000, and for the same 1 carat lab, if you were to buy a natural, it would come somewhere around 5 lakhs to 6 lakhs.
Okay.
So this will again vary depending on the size and depending on the certification, etc. But that's the kind of price difference you see. So what we have done is in the past year, we've also set up a separate factory for lab grown. So we have around 4 factories where natural diamond jewelry is manufactured and a separate factory where lab grown diamond is manufactured as well. Because we have a lot of people, like I mentioned, who come to us who picked up a 3 carat natural diamond earring, but they do not want to wear that when they're traveling abroad. So they ask us to do an alternate pair just for travel. So it's basically the exact solitaire earring for them in lab grown. Similarly, we've even custom made solitaire neck pieces, exactly same what we've done for them in natural in lab as well. So like I said, your purpose of purchase in lab is essential. You can always reset a lab grown jewelry, reuse a lab grown jewelry, but not resell a lab grown jewelry because it is eventually man made, lab manufactured. So you do not expect the prices of it to appreciate, which is not the case with natural. So the question again comes back to you. What is your purpose of purchase? Are you looking at investment? Are you looking at growth? Are you looking at, say, an alternate option for just safety concern or just to splurge in and enjoy? So we are very honest that way. So how this is how Vipul and I, my husband, so we built the foundation of the business. So even when a client walks in, the first thing that we do is educate the client.
Yeah.
Because irrespective of whether we do the business or not, you need to be aware of your purchase.
Yeah.
Irrespective of who you buy jewelry from, if you are updated, if you are knowledgeable, nobody can guide you wrong.
On that note,
Ah.
we have to also jump into your other, of course, you have such wonderful non-profit and you're doing a lot of good deeds to the society. But I would also like conclude asking very two quick questions on your business front, because it's absolutely interesting. As for me as a lawyer and just generally interested in the business, I'm somebody who likes very simple jewelry, for example. But I know my mom's a hoarder of jewelry character. Like most moms are, right? And in the society, and maybe it's because they thought that this is going to accumulate in wealth, etc. But there's also a significant shift to the business today. I can see even when I come back, there's a lot of boutique stores, even by bigger establishments, known jewelers in the market, where they're having a subset or sequel of the business, where they're more on the lesser carat for gold. They make it more affordable or more designer wear, a lab grown scenario. Do you think this this quick design, like we say fast fashion, right? A lot of it is fast fashion and it's constantly evolving, and so is jewelry. I understand in jewelry we keep using the term timeless and timeless, but very rarely are things very timeless today, especially with design. So do you see that the lesser carat on the gold and the silver and the lab grown diamonds are picking a market in itself for just more like fast fashion or design?
Yes.
And how do you compete with, the bigger conglomerates or the ones that have been around for a longer time?
So I'll tell you, there is no competition in it. Especially with Prismarc, we are manufacturers.
Yeah.
So we customize what you require.
Yeah.
So if you want me to make something in 14 carat, 18 carat, 22 carat, you want to make in DEF IF, you want me to customize in DEF VVS, you want a big bridal jewelry, or you want simple everyday lightweight jewelry. So like I said, we are manufacturers. In fact, our USP is customization. So any client who walks in, what they prefer. So it's your design, your style, your price. And we will ensure we get it done in the best way possible. So this is one part of it. The second part, like you mentioned, so, for us, there is no competition in terms of it. But when I look at the changing requirements that has been coming by, like to us in the past years, yes, with the rising gold prices, with the changing design palette of the younger generation, there has been a substantial shift in the way the jewelry was asked for before versus what people are asking for right now. So I would say there are a lot more people looking for lightweight jewelry, a lot more people looking for more conventional, bracelets and conventional workwear, light, casual wear. And even for wedding, what we suggested, instead of locking in to a big bridal piece, which you are not going to wear it again apart from your family weddings, we've now introduced something like multi-wear versatile pieces. So the same choker is actually made wearable in multiple ways, in smaller ways. So this way you also get to optimize on your jewelry and your need with the changing societal times, your events, you have shows, you have a lot of societal activity that happens that doesn't require you to wear heavy jewelry. And you need a lot more jewelry. Like I said, India is never going to stop buying. India is never going to have a break on the jewelry front. We only evolve in terms of design, evolve in terms of purchase, and with the evolving requirement of global crisis, rise in the prices, the financials of the family, the need has shifted. Maybe not entirely, but you see the change in now. People are, see, there was a time when people are very keen on only having 22 carat jewelry. Now people are okay with 14 karat jewelry as well. So basically there is no difference or lower quality in 14 or 22. It's just the proportion of gold is lower in 14 carat and the proportion of gold is higher in 22 carat. Apart from that, there is significantly nothing that lowers the quality in both. They are absolutely the same. It's just that this proportion in 22 carat gold, you have 91% gold. In 14 carat, you have 59% gold. In 18 carat, you have 75% gold. That's the only thing. But otherwise, like I said, with changing times, yes, there has been a shift, and there's nothing wrong about it, because it is not. People are not lowering on the quality, is what I'm trying
They're
to
just
say.
diversifying their portfolio.
Yeah.
I think smarter investments. Right?
Yeah, so probably in the place of one, they try and get two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we as a brand, we never suggest something which, will bring down the value of their investment. Because see, for us, client satisfaction is more important. And
Yeah.
jewelry are high transaction. The value that we deal in is much, much higher.
Yeah.
So we always say, in a jewelry purchase, it is not about the jewelry as much as it is about the jeweler.
Perfect. With that banging statement, we have to jump into the little time we have about the real reason that I bought you on this couch. You're extraordinarily impressive. I'm sure the way you've spoken about the brand, about the personal branding, and the personal branding that you are a character of your own brand. So I'm sure the ones that are listening are going to come to you. And, because you made it seem like it's an affordable segment for anyone and everyone, right? And it's also when they're going to a factory merchant themselves, they also feel that they are from the ground level or the grassroots level of the purchase. So the other side to you is also that you're not just empowering, you're also trying to empower women, and you are in the side of the society that really needs people that not just have the family business skill set, but to have the leverage to take it forward. You are a part of the networking in the business club of the FICCI Flow, which is one of the most prestigious chamber of commerce in India today. And you have successfully been on it, and it's quite a difficult task to get on it. So what are the work that you do in FICCI, and how do you see that being a huge part of your work today?
Yeah, so I'm part of the executive committee at FICCI this year, and I'm also heading the business networking vertical. So our primary goal is to empower women, uplift women. And as the business networking vertical head, so I look to give opportunities and platform to women entrepreneurs for organically collaborating and growing their business. Because, as a women, the best we can do, the least we can do is uplift other women. As women, we adorn too many hats. So every woman who's pursuing her passion, I would definitely commend her, because it, like they say, behind every successful man, there is a woman, but behind every successful woman, there is an entire family that supports her. Because otherwise, there is, for a woman to be successful, she needs to have the backbone and the support of her family. So I really look forward to encouraging fellow women entrepreneurs by giving them the platform and the opportunity to connect, to grow, to collaborate, to have more visibility, and thereby benefit each other and likewise grow together. More power in growing together.
Okay, so in continuation of your philanthropic activities, you're also part of the Goodreads Chennai, and can you tell us a few important projects that you're involved in and that you also want to give back to the society on a grassroots level? Any mentorship that you've done or anything that you're presently working on, even in the FICCI Flow chapter?
Yes, so both at CGDC is an excellent platform, and that has been continuously doing a lot of philanthropy in the past year. And as a member of FICCI Flow Chennai, this year our entire year has been dedicated for upliftment of women. So we're looking at a lot of projects right from skilling women in terms of artistry and skill sets, and then giving them a platform. So we try and identify, like say from the agriculture industry, from the fashion industry, from multiple multiple verticals at the grassroots level. We try and identify those groups, and then we try to, give them a platform where they're able to sell, gain some visibility, and thereby support themselves. We've had this RE work in the past where, we got these tribal women from the Nilgiris, trained them, and then gave them a platform where they could sell. And Fiki Flow has also encouraged, they've tied up a small part of it with Tarun Telyani, where a jhumkalam was made with the Toda embroidery by the Toda workers themselves in collaboration with Tarun Telyani. So, this is just one of the projects that has come to my mind, which has happened in the past year, and I would definitely credit Flo for taking up such phenomenal activities and giving us the opportunity to also be part of the same.
Okay, that's such a wonderful, just hearing it kind of gives you the sense of not just the intention to be a part of such communities, because one often thinks that, you need to be at a certain level in your life to be involved in this, but one can see that, as long as there is some sincere skill set or talent, that there are institutions that do see this and bring them on board.
Yes, so especially for this year, we've worked on a couple of projects where we can implement at school level, college level, financial literacy, technical literacy, and coming at medical literacy. So a lot of projects. I mean, if I were to list, the list would just go on. But just to sum up, we try and impact across all sectors, and majorly at the grassroots level. And for the middle and the women at the higher level, of course, we try to do a lot of workshops as part of the organizational events itself.
Okay, that's wonderful. And I hope when I'm back, I would like to be a part of all of this, because
Yes.
it just sounds so liberating to give back. So we've come to almost the end of the podcast, but I cannot leave you without asking my iconic questions, if I say so myself. So I always end the podcast by asking the guests, what is the book that changed their life, and what is that one movie that they would recommend from their personal expertise, right? Because it's always nice when people pick up such things. Yeah.
You will have a very fun answer for this. Least expected, let me tell you. Because for me, it's not been a book or a movie as much as that one session that I attended with Indra Nooyi at Fiki Flow about 8 years ago, if I'm not wrong. So that has been a game changer in my mindset as a women entrepreneur. So she said, a women entrepreneur can never really have the perfect work-life balance. You need to bust that myth. It is just not possible for you to be saying that, yes, I have struck the right balance between my professional life and personal life. Rather, we need to look at it as something that goes by priority on a day-to-day basis. So you take life as it comes. There are certain days where you prioritize work, certain days where you prioritize home, certain days where you prioritize your society. So you just need to find the tuning and adaptability between these scenarios. So never try to have that feeling, oh my God, this is something that I would like to share with the rest of my fellow women entrepreneurs as well. Never have the guilt. As a woman, you're already doing so much as a daughter, daughter-in-law, wife, sister, mother, and, trying to balance several roles and being a full-time entrepreneur, as well as being sensitive to the needs of a home. You are trying to put in 100% of yourself, but it is not possible to put in equally every single day. So there are days when you give 100 to one particular segment and 100 to another particular segment on another day. So you just have to take life as it comes by, and never limit your dreams. Always aim for the sky, and with the help of your family, with the help of your personal hard work, resilience. And another thing that I strongly feel is you should always build a strong foundation in the area you want to pursue. That is my mantra for success to every other woman who's looking to grow her business. You can learn everything, but you learn that in your field, and that will take you at a much higher pace to a much higher
level of success.
Level of success, yes.
That's wonderful, and that's a banging note to end at. I think I have sincerely enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.
We went all the way from luxury to learning about gemology to all the wonderful philanthropic non-profit work that you do. I think you're a one-size package. You're all the 4 C's that you mentioned. So thank you very much for coming on my podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure knowing you, and thank you very much, Preethika. And I wish you nothing but good health and success.
Thank you so much, Pooja. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. Like so many things I've been waiting to share. So you're doing a great work by bringing we women into the light. And I must share what a phenomenal woman you are. You phrased the questions so beautifully that I feel I was able to, put myself out there. And thank you once again.
My pleasure.